thanks for tuning in. I know it's a little bit late, but welcome to not really Spookin with Scoops, but The Evil Within. The DLC came out earlier today. I haven't had a chance to check it out yet, and I really should be going to bed, but instead I thought, you know what, screw it. I'm going to turn on this stream. I'm going to check out 20 or 30 minutes of The Evil Within. So The Evil Within is a game that I have a complicated relationship with, in that I gave it a 2-star review on Giant Bomb because I thought it was just okay. A lot of people took that game to be or 2 stars to mean that I thought it was a really bad game. I didn't think it was a really bad game. I think it was a deeply flawed game that was interesting and worth checking out, but that, you know, when people are thinking about spending $60, I want to give them an appropriate assessment of how I felt about it. So it's a game that, you know, if it dropped to $30, $20, like, yeah, worth checking out. What is Shinji Mikami up to? It's making games that aren't particularly good, as it turns out. But, you know, always willing to give things another shot. And so what I decided was that, hey, I want to check out this DLC called The Assignment. You follow one of the female characters from The Evil Within, who kind of weaves her way in and out of the main story, and now she actually has an opportunity to shine, and apparently it has a bit of a stealth component. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure everything is good to go here, and turn my monitor down a little bit, and let's jump right in. So, new game. Your data will be overwritten because all I did was jump into the I just passed the intro to make sure that the game ran okay. Cassione says, "Return to the letterbox." You are not wrong, my friend. Del Time says, "Patrick will give you a 6-pack of Revolver for Bloodborne." I don't have a copy of Bloodborne. A lot of people thought that my tweet earlier today implied that I had a copy of Bloodborne, but I don't. I assume I will at some point this month, perhaps slightly earlier than the rest of you, but I don't have one yet. Plus,
you stand with Mobius?
I need to finish Demon Souls.
I do. I made my choice.
So I assume this must take place in parallel to the events of The Evil Within. If you asked me to explain what happened to The Evil Within, I'd... That won't happen. I don't remember what happened in that game. Zombie Slayer 18 says, "You're barely starting the DLC." I am literally starting the DLC. I have not played it. I don't know how it works. I have no understanding of what the DLC entails. We're going to find that out together. I'm not even going to play super long. I just kind of wanted to jump in here and check out the first 20 or 30 minutes and figured, hey, if I'm going to do that, might as well do it with all y'all. So I'm going to turn off my other monitors and bring down the brightness on that night vision cam. So yeah, Return to the Letterbox for sure, which I didn't, you know, inherently have a problem with in
No blood.
the original Evil Within. You know, I think I defend it as a stylistic choice. If it was in fact purely a stylistic choice, I feel like the rest of the game sort of sloppy quality and provides evidence that perhaps it was more to maintain frame rate and to cover up technical issues with the game than it was to actually, you know, Shinji Mikami saying,
"Where is everybody?"
Hey, this is how I actually want to frame this game, and important to framing the game is this really deep letterboxing. You know, I suppose it still could be true, but I feel like it's probably not. So Julie Kidman, I believe, is the character we're playing as, who is voiced by Jennifer Carpenter, who was Dexter's sister, Deborah Morgan, on the once decent television show Dexter, that has been off the air for 2 years now, and was not good for many, many years. Alright, well, I'm looking around as one would normally do in one of these games, thinking I'm going to find some items or something else to mess with, but perhaps I should just be sallying forth. Oh, all good video games will immediately let you skip their cutscenes. It's a pet peeve of mine. I wish the way it would work is that if you pressed a button, it would prompt you to let you know what button. Oh.
Sorry, detective. Skips and creeps up.
It's a nice swift kick to the face. What he just assumes that I'm taken care of? That's fine. Sure, why not? The other game I want to check out that takes a similar approach to this is The Order 1886, which feels like the most came and went game that I have seen in a long, long time. There was so much discussion, so much discourse, so much arguing over what that game was, how people were portraying it, how the reviews that came out as a result, and I feel like I have not seen anything about that game since, and it has just immediately moved on. I want to play The Order. I don't know if I'm going to get a chance to do that before I have to really dig into Bloodborne, but if somehow I have time, that is on my list. Ooh, documents, my favorite thing to do. Record expunged. Case. That all looks like junk. So as is the case with other sections in the Evil Within, this seems like a mixture of some semblance of reality and a lot of ridiculousness. Oh man, what's the... Okay, they're not going to explain me what the controls are again, so hopefully we can pick up. I thought that's the DLC would at least remind you, oh hey, you should crouch here, and crouch by holding right button, but apparently not. I don't have any what? I guess I can kick. Alright, good to know.
Hey, where's Joseph? Everyone must be dead.
What's going on with the weird visual effects?
Leslie.
Leslie Withers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry?
Kid, I need you focused. I need your attention.
That's a really big office.
This is a serious matter.
He's
Everything we
probably
do is a
trying to
serious
show
matter.
that he's impressive. He's got good design taste.
I'm ready.
I'd like to think so, but conviction must be proven with action. As I was saying, your target is Leslie Withers. He's a patient at Beacon Mental Hospital. But he's something more. Simply put, we need him to run our STEM system. Without this asset, our research will mean nothing.
I don't understand. We own Beacon. Why not just take him?
Our relationship with his advisor, Marcelo Jimenez, has become rather strained. The boy is a leverage piece. Jimenez plans to activate a STEM prototype at Beacon without our permission. Obviously, that's unsuitable. Have no illusions. It will be dangerous. Come, take a walk. The nurses are waiting.
I guess I'm starting to have a mild flashback to the storyline in Evil Within that implied she was... What's up with that cat? Yo, cat. That's pretty cool.
Hey there. Where did you come from?
Anyway, that implied she was part of some conspiracy. Are you serious? You using the cat to save? That's great. That's fantastic. I highly approve. A+, 5 stars. Yes from Kotaku. Whatever you need. Using a cat as a save beacon is... It's fantastic. The thing is, a lot of parts of the Evil Within actually looked really, really nice. Like, that's just some tremendous lighting happening. Like, you just look around through, even just right here. Just really, really good looking. And that was something that I remarked upon, you know, a number of times. Oh, the cat really is the save bit. That's fantastic. Something that I remarked upon all throughout my playthrough of Evil Within. Huh. Wow, we're starting out... Okay, interesting. So essentially we're getting a better sense of the conspiracy, I guess? Well, that. Hey, dude, your face is messed up. You get that checked out. Hi. Everyone's here, his face is messed up. Anything over here? Can I kick people? Okay, I can crouch, but I cannot kick people. Key distinction. That's red. That means I can't go. Okay, alright, fine. So when you got to the end of the Evil Within, spoiler alert, but if you're watching like a stream of the DLC, then I assume you're okay with mild story spoilers. Of the mild story spoilers that I could even conjure in my brain. You know, basically like a vaster conspiracy was hinted at. Or maybe not hinted at, but explicitly pointed to at the end of the Evil Within. But it, you know, certainly suggested there was more to be told, whether that happens in DLC or a proper sequel. As much as I thought that the Evil Within was like a fairly flawed game, I thought there was enough there that if they were to take another whack at it in Evil Within 2 or whatever they end up calling it, I actually think that could end up being kind of interesting. And really, like, if Shinji Mikami puts out a new video game, who am I to say I won't play it? Because I'm not that human. I'm a human that will play the new Shinji Mikami video game. That's some good goddamn lighting, though. Ah, just imagine what that lighting would look like in full frame.
If Jimenez activates the system, you'll be pulled in. Hopefully he doesn't. But as a precaution, we've prepared an infusion to prevent contamination.
Like a vaccine? To protect me?
More accurately, to hide you. We developed STAT, but there is a ghost in the system. Something we call Ruvik. It means to keep us out. This infusion should protect you to some extent.
One thing I briefly saw in the chat as I was making sure the things were okay on the stream is that someone pointed out that this game was built in id Tech 5, which is weird. And
Why send me alone?
You won't be alone. You'll be with your team from KPD.
the little I can say about this game's development that I have heard is that id Tech 5 proved to be a roadblock. Whether that results in the letterboxing, I don't know, but it certainly didn't help. Ah, Rage. What a disappointment Rage was. Man, that game came out after, like, forever.
That boy. He will enable us to change everything.
I'll come back with him.
I needn't remind you the consequences for failure.
No, please do remind me what happens.
Is a sensitive
Oh,
subject
well, I'm gonna
for
die.
us.
Okay, alright, that's
Trust
fair.
Is such a valued commodity in today's world. So once again, I ask you, do you stand with Mobius?
What about
I
Morpheus?
do. I made my choice.
That is an enormous needle. I'm not a needle phobe or whatever that is called, but that is a huge friggin' needle.
Now I'm going to count down.
Oh, that whole needle is inside her arm.
I'll ask you a series of questions.
Oh my gosh, so much of that needle is inside her arm.
10.
That's like half her arm.
9. 8. 7. 6.
Whenever needles go inside me, I can survive it, but I don't like to look at it.
3. 2. 1.
Gotta look away.
Now I'd like to ask you some questions.
Once it's in there, I'm okay. But man, the lead up to the needle in the arm is not.
Have you ever felt abandoned?
Kind of looks like
by
the poster
those
of
you
the thing.
trusted?
Oh, take the needle out of your arm. Take it out, take it out, take it out, take it out. Take it out, take it out. I don't like it. Get it out, get it out. So why don't you make me look at the whole thing? If we're gonna do this, might as well go the whole way. Oh!
Hey! Anyone?
Alright, I'm back, and my kick ability is now re-enabled, which means we're back in video game mode. You can't get past this. But don't worry. She can kick. Let's see what we can get. Alright, I wonder if I should just be on the... Should I already start crawling? I don't know. Seems unlikely. Press another button, seeing if I can pull up other things yet. D-pad doesn't do anything, so... Seems like we're still... early enough that I don't have to worry about anything like that. Are we in the item collecting phase yet? Appears not. I can look around, but there's nothing to get. So might as well just continue on. Open that flashy looking door. Ooh. Speaking of flashy looking doors.
What's going on? Where did everyone go?
That's new. That's actually a... You know, one of the arguments made for the letterboxing, which also combines with the fact that the camera is extremely close, and then you'll notice when you hold left trigger that it becomes even closer, and it's not even that you go right behind the character, but you actually, the camera is centered a little bit to the right, and specifically you're seeing the center of the screen become what you're pointing at. It creates a sort of claustrophobia that I think maybe in a slightly better game would be incredibly effective. But as I sit here and look at like how good this game looks, then it tricks me into thinking I liked this game. And there were parts of this game I did really like. Like the part where I'd stomp on this dude. And we're back to these weird zombie cops. My favorite kind of cop. Another one. I guess it implies that by holding up this, perhaps it'll function in a way that's slightly different than just walking. In Resident Evil Revelations 2, which I'm playing right now as well, I reviewed the 3rd episode on Kotaku today, and I'll be playing the 4th episode for next week as well, which is the season finale. It was part of a 4-part season. One of the characters, Moira Burton, has access to a flashlight, and she can shine it in the eyes of enemies. And that results in kind of like temporarily like blinding them, which allows you to get a couple shots in.
Help!
Hey!
No! Not the light! Not the light!
Hold on. I'm gonna find a way in there.
Please. No. No!
I don't like anything about that enemy. Well, appears to have gone all sorts of wrong for this man.
Oh, shit. What could have done this?
Sorry, man. I guess I thought I'd be there in time. Oh, you lost your whole body. Not just part of it, but like all of it. Unfortunate turn of events for you, my friend. Doesn't appear this flashlight has any batteries. So we're not looking at an Outlast sort of... Oh! I did some nasty stuff to that individual's head. Julie Kidman has a bit of a kick to her kick.
I'm afraid that the fragile mental states of the subjects are limiting our studies. Mobius wants us to move past Beacon patients and onto more stable people. They want to get STEM closer to its intended use. Would they see the world in the same way? Would a sane mind weather the psychically draining experience? I had that dream again. I entered the STEM myself.
Using cover. B to enter cover, left stick to move, left stick to peek around corner, hide around corners and below low obstacles. You can move along walls, peek around corners, and call out to enemies. Call enemy. While on cover, call out to enemies to lure them in your direction.
Come here.
Alright, so you can't do anything like move along cover, which would be useful, but I don't think anything like this was in the original game, but to be honest, oh. Lost the game for a second there.
Hey!
Stand still to completely recover health. Hide and use cover. Oh. Hold on, tutorial. I missed that last bit. Health recovery. Stand still to recover health. Hide and use cover to increase recovery rate. Okay, that's an interesting mechanic. Well, obviously those red buttons must represent which ones to press, but do I have to guess the order, or are we looking at... Okay. Certainly do a lot of hiding in closets and in isolation. A little bit of hiding in closets and Evil Within, but you know, you had enough weapons that you could kind of get down to brass tacks if one needed to. What are we looking at here? Any sort of... Are all these just hide in here and there's nothing that I can open up and kind of scope out? Maybe I just need to kind of determine this through sheer... I'm gonna guess maybe it's what, 9, 7, 2, 3? Or maybe it's the other way around. 3, 2, 7, 9. Yeah, okay. Gross. Letter scrap. My favorite reward for solving a puzzle. This game had a lot of collectibles that I stopped paying attention to really quickly. There was also a boss that you fought like 9,000 times in Evil Within that I believe wore things like this. Evil Within also, similar to Silent Hill, had kind of a flesh fetish in which sort of the grotesque design of the creatures was sort of like not body manipulation, but certainly just like kind of weird contortions and fleshy bits. I know the Resident Evil series has done a little bit of that, but not nearly to the extent that Evil Within and Silent Hill like to indulge. Enemies can be distracted. The question is, to what end? Am I trying to go that way? This doesn't seem necessarily like where I want to go. This just seems like a room to hide in. Luring enemies. Call enemy. While on cover, call to enemies to lure them to your position. So maybe this game is going to be a lot of like... Alright, like this. Bringing him over here.
Come here.
Doing like that. Get in. Probably want to do that a little bit faster. Interesting. So whereas in the Evil Within, the main game, there was a sort of a staggering between stealth and action that was sometimes determined by the level layout, but was often determined by what the player wanted to do. There was a precious little ammunition that you got access to in the Evil Within, so often you went the stealth route because you wanted to use items that allowed you to do one-hit kills. If I remember correctly, the one-hit kill items, like the knives, were also a limited quantity. Everything was a limited quantity because it was you know, it dipped into more of the survival horror stuff than some of these games normally do. Whereas this DLC seems to be very explicitly focused on stealth and giving you additional mechanics that allow you to manipulate the creatures around you, which I suppose is narratively justified by you partnering in the conspiracy and them saying, like, here's some extra stuff, but why are they sending you in to die? Good question. Okay, so can I shut this door? I can. Okay, so here's some additional stuff. Is the ability to push those doors closed. My guess is, although I guess I can't confirm it, is that they probably cannot. Enemies cannot open those doors. Huh. If an enemy goes in there, I wonder if I can then lock them. Right, so like the fact that they're exploring there now, if I was to head over there, I bet I could lock that door. Which is an interesting idea. And so far I have like quite literally no weapons. I don't have any ability to attack at all, which seems like something that could potentially get frustrating over time, but so far I'll give it credit. At least they're going for a completely different gameplay style. Alright, so let's go ahead. Alright, so now one assumes prank call. That's pretty funny. Okay, so once that's green, if the light is green, the trap is clean. Can they escape? Is kind of the interesting question. Like, does that just buy you time? Or are they actually literally stuck in that room? I wonder if that might vary based on the enemy type, but at least what we're presented with right here is an enemy that is completely stuck. But we're also talking about the intro enemy that is probably not capable of a whole lot. Let's at least check around the corner to see what's going down. Need an ID card. So I guess, you know, this is also, I have to admit, some pretty elegant tutorializing. In which the game's not, you know, there are like little prompts coming up that that explain to you a little bit about what's going on, but by and large you're kind of like, you know, figuring out how a lot of this works on your own. You know, the prank call achievement lets you know, hey, you pulled it off. You know, that's I think that is actually a pretty interesting and worthwhile implementation of how achievements work, is to reward the player for doing something that isn't something as blatant as a tutorial sort of accomplishment dialogue. So, you know, the achievement suggests to me, especially now in retrospect, having done it, like, hey, you did it. Like, you pulled off the trick we were trying to teach you. And it feels more like a pat on the back as opposed to a handhold. This keycard belonged to one of the Mobius staff. It appears to have the blood of its previous owner on it. Also, if you want to hide in here, sure. Oh. Oh, I do. Is it too late? Oh, I got caught. Oh! Okay. That is a pretty goddamn creepy enemy. You got me there, video game. Is that thing still around? Yeah, I don't think I need to look around. It doesn't appear we're in the stage of collecting items or whatever. So I can peer out. Should probably put my... Nothing's here. Trap is clear. Slide along that keycard and let's get the fuck out of here. I don't want to deal with whatever the hell that thing was. If I don't have to. Oh, the game is slowing me down. Seems like we're gonna hit a cutscene or a jump scare. Oh! Jump scare. Oh, okay. Something I can interact with here. Just the door.
Agent status terminated. Authorization invalid.
What? Terminated? Maybe I can force it open with the computer.
She said as she hung out behind the the computer itself.
Analyzing data.
Okay, creepy doors. Gonna go ahead and hide out here. That just seems like smart business. Oh, fuck me. Huh.
That thing used its light.
You trying to say that we should follow that thing? Does that seem like the smart money? Sure, why not? Well, that looks like a very convenient box that no one would want to hide inside. So we should probably... Oh, wow. Okay. That's kind of a flashback to a bit from the original game.
If the system is activated, you'll hear a high-pitched noise. From then, we can't do anything to help.
What's gonna happen to me?
All I can say is that it'll be unsettling, but Leslie will be in there with you. You'll need to find it.
This is from before. Leslie, is he really here?
Oh, conveniently blocked corridor. My favorite thing.
Leslie is here. Okay, I gotta get to him before anything else does.
I couldn't tell when I watched Dexter whether she was actually a great actress. I really enjoyed her character, but not something that I could quite put my finger on when I watched it. It seemed like one of those sort of moments where maybe a character was just really so made for an actress that it ends up defining the actress in a way that perhaps makes it tough for them going forward. She was really good for a couple seasons, though, and often the stuff where she wasn't good was not her fault. Also, I'm really going to have to talk to this kitten to save again, aren't I? Oh, that's great. Best save system of the year? Probably. Like, what could possibly come even close? Why would I stand up when there's a thing behind me and the cat's probably saving me from it? Nah, we'll just say, you walk the other way. Go the other way. I'm hanging out with my cat. Petting my cat. Oh, fine, I'll stand up. And maybe the cat can see things that I can't? Huh. Okay, well, I gotta wrap this stream up. I have to go to bed at a reasonable time, but we'll at least press forward a tiny little bit. Oh. So 30 minutes into this DLC, I do not have access to a single weapon yet. I remain completely defenseless, other than my ability to sort of knock on things and lure people out through my voice, which I continue to find kind of interesting. I think it would be sort of amazing if the game tried to completely commit to that, as opposed to it just being something that eventually they're just going to give me a gun for. Oh, we're going to sit here and try and figure out a puzzle. Is there a hint somewhere? The last one was pretty easy, just because you were figuring it out based on the bloody dials of a finger, but I feel like this one might have a little more to do with something, and I'm not good at this stuff usually. Yes, select dial. Okay, 3 colors. Red, white, yellow. I assume those must be... Aha. 20. There's one out there, so... I assume there's probably one back down by where that guy is, forcing you to kind of risk your safety in order to figure out whatever the 3rd number is. Also, did that enemy go somewhere? It appears they've left. Well, in any case, I think that is going to bring our stream of The Evil Within, the Assignment DLC to a close. I mostly just wanted to get a little bit of a feel for what was happening here. I'm hoping to write about it tomorrow at Kotaku, which means I'm probably going to wake up tomorrow morning, and although it'll be daylight, I'm probably going to like duct tape a blanket over this monitor to try and create some darkness, and I'll probably play a little bit in the morning. So if I end up doing that early in the morning, I will stream it as well, just so that folks can watch me as I make a little more progress in this. So thanks for people for tuning in late tonight. I appreciate you guys checking out a little bit of this with me. But that's going to do it for The Evil Within, the Assignment. Look for an archive of this if you missed part of it up on my YouTube channel in the morning. Otherwise, I will... also, you should watch all my Dark Souls streams. I did 6 hours of Demon Souls on Sunday. So if you want to catch up with my Demon Souls stream as I get caught up on Demon Souls before Bloodborne comes out later this month, feel free to do that at youtube.com/PatrickKlepek, where this archive will live as well. And I will see you guys later.